Hey guys, I'm Alyssa. I just started watching YouTube videos maybe a few days ago, um, other TTC-ers, and I was kind of inspired to start my own to log our journey trying to conceive. So I'm Alyssa. I'm 22 years old. My husband's name is Jake. He's 23. We were married August 3rd, 2013, so last year, almost a year ago now. Pretty soon after, like that month, we started trying to conceive. Um, I went off birth control that month. I had been on birth control since I was about 17 to regulate my periods. So I went off birth control in August, and I didn't have a period for like 3 months. And so I called my doctor. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. She didn't seem concerned about it. She said my body was probably trying to regulate itself, and she printed off a paper about PCOS. She thought I may have it based on my old lab work, but from when I was 17. But she wasn't really concerned about it. She didn't really seem to want to do any new test, and she said it really wasn't a big deal. It probably wouldn't affect me very much. So I was a little bit worried about that. But I didn't know much about it at that point. So she told me to come back 3 months later if I still hadn't had a period. So in February, I changed insurance, and I got a new doctor. So I went to see her, and she thought I did have PCOS. So she did some new lab work, and she decided to put me on Provera to get my cycles started again, and she's hoping that would regulate them. So I did, I think, 14 days of Provera. My period did start, and then I didn't have another period for like 68 days. So I went back to her, and then she decided to put me on another round of Provera with 50 milligrams of Clomid. So I did the Clomid. I didn't have very many side effects with it. I did get some hot flashes. My face broke out a little bit, and I had a headache, but it wasn't anything crazy. I went back on day 12 to do a ultrasound to check my follicles, and the ultrasound tech didn't tell me anything. I didn't see my doctor. So about 10 days later, I got a call, and she said the response was similar to what women with PCOS have, and so she was going to refer me to a specialist because she thought a specialist would just be able to help us a lot better than she could. So let's see, we went to see the specialist, or before that, I actually did get a period on my own right after Clomid, and so that was a 30-day cycle, and that was a really short cycle for me. It was my first cycle where I actually got my period on my own. So that was pretty cool. July 2nd, I went to see the specialist. Jake and I did for our initial consult, and we're very happy with him. He made a plan of action, and so we kind of laid things out to show us the next steps in this process, what they'll be for us. He thought I had PCOS too, but he wanted to do his own lab work. So we did a lab workup that day. Jake had a semen analysis, and all my lab work came back fine, except my testosterone was a bit high, my progesterone was a bit low, I believe. Jake's semen analysis came back perfect, so that was good at least. So we did an initial ultrasound like the following week to check my lining and my uterus and whatnot. So that day we saw a lot of really small follicles. So he decided to put me on another 50 milligrams of Clomid because he actually believed I had ovulated on the 50 milligrams before, since I did get my own period. So we did that. I did 5 days of 50 milligrams of Clomid, and then I had a follies check on, 5 days later. So, hold on. yeah, that showed two, I think two good sized follicles on my right ovary, and then a really good sized one on my left ovary. So the nurse told me she would talk to the doctor, and then later that day she would let me know what was going to happen next. We didn't know if he was going to put me on another round of Clomid, or if he was going to let me do the trigger shot. She thought that he would probably have me do the trigger shot, but depending on my lab work, I had blood tests on that day, so depending on my lab work, she'd let me know what was going to happen. So she called me back later that day and told me that my hormones looked like they were surging on their own, so I wasn't going to have to do the HCG trigger shot. She said everything looked really good except for my lining was a bit thin, which I guess is common with Clomid. So she said he was a bit worried about that, but it wasn't anything crazy. So she told us to baby dance every other day, at least every other day for the next 4 days. And that was on last Tuesday. So I did an OPK I did an OPK on Tuesday. I got that a -1, and then I did another OPK on Wednesday, and that was positive. But then I got another 4 days of positive OPK, so I'm not sure even what that means. So hopefully this cycle works. Hopefully I did ovulate, and hopefully we're in our 2-week wait now. So I'm supposed to test on July 31st, so I will keep you posted. I'm excited to watch everybody else's videos and catch up on everybody else's journeys. I'm just really excited to connect with other people that can kind of understand what I'm going through. So good luck to everybody else.